Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. It's going to take a quick look at some back and liquidation data here for SUI, see kind of what's going on, how much further this could go down, because unfortunately the floodgates are open now that we've had that hack or that breach, and that essentially caused price action to pull back a lot more aggressively than most other altcoins. And on top of that, Bitcoin is pulling back as well from 112 to 108. So that's not really awesome stuff. Keep in mind that is occurring because Trump sent out another tweet, of course, for a 50% tariff on Europe, so that does tend to affect the market a little bit, so just bear that in mind. Now when we take a look here at liquidation, let's go ahead and get a good fresh refresh here and just make sure that we understand that I think that 350 range is likely going to be the next target, just because there's a lot of longs there that are essentially late longs at 352. They bought that recent dip. And I don't blame you for buying in. Trust me, this coin does have a tendency of recovering quickly, but we're in a market right now, a bit of a downtrend. It doesn't make sense to try to take a long on a coin like this that is highly, I wouldn't say manipulative, but it is absolutely getting hammered harder than most coins right now. Okay, so we got stopped out on our long position. I'm actually happy to be out of that position because it just didn't work out so favorably. We lost our support at that 380 to 390 range. So now that that's done, we can presume that's going to be a new resistance. We'll look at that here shortly so you understand what I'm talking about. But to clarify in a macro perspective, besides 350, there's a little bit of liquidation there. We got a ton down as low as $3. I don't personally subscribe to the thought process of seeing $3 again for SUI, but if Bitcoin happens to run towards 97,000 or something stupid like that, then we might actually see that. Okay, between now and then, less likely for that to occur. So don't get too stressed out. Having said that, the liquidation delta is shifted bearish. Big surprise. It's even more bearish now than it was before, and now that it's kind of on the bearish side, it's just generally best practice not to try to take a long into it. Okay, so not a good call there to see that. Now we take a look here at open interest. We can recognize we're at a position right now where we got a lot more open interest above the price than below, but we do have our last leg of support at 340. Okay, so 340 is that level there. Give me just 1 second, turn this off. Sorry, my filter came on in the room. I didn't want that to affect the noise. So let's take a quick look here at the daily time frame and recognize that we're in a position right now where we are retesting our 1 day previous high. In other words, we had a 1 day high here, kind of at 350 as a close approximate, 360. That was a heavy area of resistance. So we want to presume that's going to be a new area of support. It's a 0.68 fib level. So even though there is liquidation down as low as 350, 345, the odds of that, I've seen a candle wick down to that level and recovering quickly is very high. So just keep that in mind if you want to put like kind of a limit order there for a spot buy. You may get lucky and get that filled. But between now and then, we look at everything else here. We're looking we're shifting bearish, and I'm not trying to propose that we're still over 50 on the RSI. That's good, but obvious indications of stochastic swinging down. We've got our RSI. SMA above the RSI itself. Money flow index is below the RSI. These are all bearish signs. So just kind of letting you know that there's still more propensity for the price to continue lower from a daily perspective. But I forgot to mention too that we lost the 50-day SMA. Sorry, that's the 20-day SMA. We got the 200 trailing behind. So now that we've lost the 20, you got to you got to presume we're going to be kind of ranging in this area between the 200 and the 20-day SMA. 4-hour time frame reflecting similar behaviors. We're under both important moving averages, but we got the 200-day hanging out here at 360. So that's good. That's adding confluence to that support of that 0.68 fib level. So 360 seems like a likely consideration for a long, pending Bitcoin doesn't continue to run and we don't have any more hacks on any of the networks for SUI. So having said that though, 4-hour time frame has broken bearish. So we're under 50 on the RSI. Usually best practice not to take a long into this. If we continue much lower, just say we see 30 on the RSI and 20 for the MFI, that's usually a good sign to take a long, just because we're typically at an overextended state when that occurs. Between now and then, still a little premature, I think, to take a long, but once more, stranger things can happen. Hourly time frame is also going to confirm that we're below the cloud here and that we're in a position where it's not recommended to take a long until we're back up above our point of control here locally. And if you kind of zoom out and recognize this, 390, if I'm not mistaken, is still that point of control. So just say we do, you do end up taking a long, maybe consider securing profits there, because we may very well be in a lower high pattern at that point, establishing, lower highs and lower lows, right? So a lot of little things to kind of think about, but between now and then, I think that it's best to presume we're going to go down just a bit further before we pull back up, and that this is not really like a greatest coin right now to take along with. even though we're entering a nice support range. So if we see 345 to 355, roughly, that little area there of confluence, that would be a good consideration for a long. I think it's just a little premature at this point. I'll post an updated playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It's available for you there. Be sure to join us over at Bitunix too, folks. They have an awesome exchange, no KYC or VPN required. And obviously you get a nice deposit reward bonus and trading volume rewards too, with a nice Model 3 up for grabs. So good stuff there. All right, folks, thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care out there. Bye-bye.